Jets screaming overhead, vintage warbirds shining on the ramp, and aerobatic teams pushing the limits of speed and precision. Sun and Fun 2026 brought it all. From the Thunderbirds to Air Legends Foundations, the skies over Florida came alive this year with skill, showmanship, and pure aviation passion. We've got the highlights and all the stories that made this year's show unbelievable. Buckle up, it's Sun and Fun, and it's nothing short of epic. All right, welcome back, everyone. We're going to kick off tonight's show. Welcome, Georgia. Brian, welcome. We're talking about Thunderbirds tonight. We're talking about Red Bull Team Stoll Invitational. We're going to talk about a lot of things. Our guest tonight is Heather Fields. She's in the show here. Welcome, David. Monique, how are you doing? Hello, welcome, welcome. Howdy. Apparently, I was doing my live incorrectly. You know, it's Cinco de Mayo. We get all hopped up on tacos and jarritos, and next thing you know, you don't know what page is hosting the live. Heather, go ahead and send me an invite. I know that. Yes, we believe in dash eights. You gotta laugh every time you say that. I know it. Everyone got your jarritos? All right, we're gonna talk to Heather tonight about Sun and Fun, her experiences, all the photos that probably over 4,000 photos that week. So we're gonna wait a little bit. Necesito jarrito, sí. What's your favorite flavor there, Brian? Hey, Bradford, welcome. Welcome, Jacob. Mango is really good. I like guava, personally. Jacob, you got a lot of cool patches coming out, man. I want to buy every one of them. I've run out of space on my wall. Those birthday patches, awesome. That's the fun thing about the podcast. It's kind of raw, whatever is said, we try to keep it clean for the families out there. But if, every podcast show every show we have a technical problem. It's okay. It happens. It's not scripted. I mean, raw but real. Marcos, welcome. David says, I've decided to stop buying patches, but then I had to buy several Harrier patches at Sun and Fun. Yes, I also bought a few Harrier patches at Sun and Fun. Actually, and Jacob will see this, I got this Harrier patch at Sun and Fun. You could also find this on Jacob's webpage. It's actually from Jacob and his Hail series collection. So pretty cool that the squadrons are now selling the patches that he's kind of put together for them. Also, Instagram Live is not laptop friendly. You can't join from the laptop. You have to join from your phone. So anyone that wants to be on the show in the future, talk about your photography, you got to be on the phone to do an Instagram Live. I am, however, doing some pre-recorded shows, and there's a lot of that this year. People that I've found at air shows that either don't have a good social media presence or that still want to come on the show, you could do that via the laptop, and we'll set up like a Zoom meeting to get you on for that. There you go. Let's see if that works. Welcome, Katie. Hey, that worked.
I had no idea because I talked to you from the computer earlier.
So you could do a call on the laptop, but you can't do it live.
Sorry.
I mean, half the time I don't even know. Oliver, welcome. All right, everyone that's joining in, we're talking about Sun and Fun tonight. Heather tonight is my guest. Welcome back to another episode of the Spotters Podcast, Heather. It's good to see you again. So give me one word that summarizes Sun and Fun for you.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It was your first time this year. It was my second time this year. And I thought I knew that I could see everything. I still didn't see everything.
Yeah, I don't think it's possible.
No. There's so much.
Wednesday through Saturday, and it's not possible to see everything.
Yeah, it is pretty epic. It's an epic show. Some of you guys were at Sun and Fun this year, but those that weren't, the Thunderbirds were the headliner. F-22 demo team put on an amazing twilight show and a night show, pretty much. It like blended it tonight. There was concerts there from like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I don't think there was a concert Friday, but there was concerts at like the Island, which is way out by the field there. I mean, if you ever have a chance to go to Sun and Fun, I'm telling you, you need to go to Sun and Fun. Check that place out. There's so much to see, from Stoll planes, other bush planes. You have seaplanes, home crafters or kit planes, RV-8s, warbirds. There's so many home boats. You have classic like 1940s Cessnas that look really awesome. Then you have the military demo teams that come in. It's either going to be the Thunderbirds or the Blue Angels. This year was the Thunderbirds. There was the QF-16s that came in from Tyndall. Those were pretty awesome. And Team Target with their Dash 8. BC would probably like that. What else was there? Oh, NASA had a huge presence this year. We had the Super Guppy, we had T-38s, we had Rook Isaacman came in with his, painted F5s that he flies personally. That's pretty awesome. What else we have? I'm missing Noah P3s, Miss
Yeah, there were
Piggy. It was
toilets. I mean, just
Yeah,
so
I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday. I can't remember which day it was, but I had looked up in the sky and there had to be at least 40 warbirds flying around at once. Like it was a group of, I think it was yaks. It was like 7 or 8 yaks. And then there was a group of like T6s or Trojans, T28s were flying around. There's so much. Like you couldn't not look anywhere and you would spot, you spot an airplane.
not even schedule either.
Yeah.
Some you just randomly look up and there's what the zombies came in.
Yeah. I was already at the stall when I got a bunch of messages. Hey man, come back F-16s. And I'm like, I missed it. Yeah.
Yep, I missed
Uh,
those too.
but we had that 4 that came in from NASA. That was pretty epic. You don't see that one much. If you live on the Cape, maybe you get the chance to see it, but it's very rare. We did miss the F4 that was supposed to come in and it was out for maintenance. So there is so much to see. And that's just the airplanes. I didn't even go to the hangars to check out the other stuff. I think I kind of walked through it once, but there's so much to see. Manufacturers,
I went through it. Yeah, through it.
there is so much in there. So
You could meet for a plane.
yeah, it was epic. And it doesn't seem like it's gonna slow down. It seems like it's gonna stay epic every year. At least I hope so. So let's get into these questions. We got a few questions, and we're gonna push it out a little longer today because we started late. So don't worry, we'll try to cover as much as possible. So your air show season started in March.
Yes.
It was at Yuma. How did Sun and Fun, and it's hard to compare the two, but how did Sun and Fun compare to Yuma?
There's really no comparison. I mean, you was our standard, 2-hour air show versus 5 days for y- morning till night.
Okay, so
So we were
the better question, have you been out to Oshkosh yet?
have not
Okay, I have not.
able to do that yet.
I have not either. That would be the comparison,
Yeah,
week-long thing.
no comparison to
Yeah.
everything I've heard.
Yeah. Okay. So we know this is the second largest air show in the United States. Number one being Oshkosh. So right there, I mean, I kind of rattled out a few things that I saw and I remember that stand out to me. It's not like a standard air show. You're going to see so much more, and every day it's going to change. Like, for example, the Harriers came in for a few days, and as they left, something else came in. T-38s.
The static line, every day it was different.
Yeah.
From morning till afternoon, it was different. They were constantly switching in and out the statics, and you never knew what they were going to pull in there. And then they would pull some out to go fly, bring them back in.
Yeah.
Constantly moving target out there. Everything's just moving
Yeah.
the entire time.
Very dynamic.
Sims were in one spot and they were in another spot, so the 35s could get there.
Yeah.
It's constant moving around. It's
Yeah.
very neat.
It was cool seeing the Kansas City Hogs at first, and then they left, and then Mooney brought their Hogs in.
When brought
So,
theirs,
yeah.
got to see 2 sets.
Yeah. And it's great that they're sticking around until 2030 now. So
That was fantastic news. Yeah,
that makes me
we need to
happy.
keep that plane around as long as possible.
Did all the hype for Sun and Fun, did it live up to the hype, really?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
What was a moment that gave you the chills at the show?
The night show, the drones, some of the things they had a little boy with a camera taking picture of a jet, and then he changed into becoming a pilot and getting in the jet and flying away.
Yeah.
I mean, it brought tears to your eyes watching it, just the meaning behind it and the music they put with it. Yeah, there was no way to.
Yeah, there's no way to compare that to anything else. Just a drone show alone. Um,
Yeah,
the DJ, I think it was like Moonlight or something like that. Um, I forget, but I have it in photos. But the DJ kicked off the night show on Wednesday, and then after the drone show, he jumped on stage and did a extended set. You know, it's crazy. There's concerts, there's air shows, There's static lines. We're gonna try to cover it. It's almost impossible to cover it in an hour. We're gonna have to cover it
Yeah,
for the
it's
next 4
impossible to
days.
cover. So yeah, 1 hour is kind of
So was there any performance that besides the drone show that kind of stole it for you, or is there a particular aircraft, like a demo that was better than anything else you ever seen?
the raptor at sunset is always hard to beat. The afterburner and the sunset, those get you every time. You don't get to see it with the sunset very often. There aren't many shows that do the sunset, and seeing those afterburners with the sky turning colors is pretty amazing.
Yeah, we were talking about that. Me and, Walter and Kyle, we're all talking about how seeing raptors during twilight is gonna ruin raptors during the day.
Two different things for sure.
Yeah. So did that composite show switching from twilight to night or day to night, did it change the experience for you as a spectator or a creator?
Both. It gives you just such a different perspective. And as a creator, there's very different shots you can get. You have to change up your settings and how do I want to shoot this? What do I want to go for? Do I want blurred background? Do I want to try to keep everything sharp? Do focus on the afterburner? What do I want from this shot?
Yeah. Yeah, I have a few shots that I kind of went through and I kept the same settings because it's really hard to just dial in what you need. And it goes from, orange color from that sunset hue to like as soon as it pops in front of a cloud, it's like dark blue, purplish, and then it's, you know,
Yeah.
silhouette on the other side. It's like, wow. It's hard to keep track, but at the same time, you get that whole spectrum of color, and it's cool to
Yeah.
kind of, work with it, edit it as it, as you're taking it. Well, after you've taken it. We had modern aircraft, warbirds, experimentals, we had Stoles. Was there anything that surprised you this year?
Just a stole competition before. Had never seen any of that. And I got to go out and shoot that for them and get some photos to share with the different guys and the teams. And that was pretty neat to watch. It's completely different than anything else with an air show. The way they take off, the way they stop, so different. So
Yeah.
that was a neat experience.
Yeah, that is pretty exciting. It's kind of quiet. I mean, you had that monster beast of an airplane that was out there with that red 26 on the side of this aircraft. And that thing sounded like a monster truck. Coming out of I think it was like a Cessna. I'm not quite sure what it was. So it sounded like a roaring diesel engine for a Stol. That thing was cool. Even seeing the small little lawnmowers, I think that's what they call them is lawnmowers.
Once enough, that was so small compared to the others.
Yeah.
So different. They called it. Somebody said they call it the flying bathtub,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
Like a big family over there. It was neat to just experience the whole base camp and all the it's so much.
Yeah. It was pretty exciting. Kyle says, was that the one with the 600 horsepower? I believe so. 600 horsepower for that one. I gotta look it up. I have some data stashed away of all the stole planes, and it's really hard to keep track of all of them. There's so many, and every year they're always changing, coming out for the invitational. So did you walk over to Paradise City besides the stole area?
I didn't, not a lot.
No. Did you go over?
I've seen it's so much.
There is. Did you head over to the island at all?
I think we came through there the first day. We went started in the stall area and then went through the island, I think,
Yeah.
and then just through the field of planes.
Yeah.
Planes everywhere.
Everywhere. Yeah, for those that had just joined in, so Sun and Fun has different areas for the different kinds of aircraft. Paradise City is a small little grass field out there. They do a stole competition and an invitational where you get to see demos of these sport aircraft, pretty much short takeoff and landing. And then the island is where all the seaplanes are hanging out. I mean, there's no water out there, but most of these seaplanes have wheels and they're landing out there in these wheels. And then you have this new area called the Swamp. It's near the campground, and you had live music out there. You had coffee out there, breakfast, donuts, all that stuff. And it was I think it was like a hangar building. Last year was for parts and whatnot. You could go and buy parts. This year is more like a restaurant and supply center for people that are camping. So every year they switch it up. Hopefully Paradise City, the island sticks around. I think it's been like that for a little bit. Do you think the stole is growing faster? I mean, this is your first year kind of seeing it, but do you think GA is going to be a bigger presence at air shows in the future?
That's my first experience with it, so I don't know what to say to that.
Okay.
Don't have anything to compare that to either. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we did have some GA demonstrations. So we had Ghost Rider air shows in their little DH1, I think. Who else we had? We had Luke Aikens, Cessna with the Red Bull Air Force. They were doing crazy stuff with that thing.
The thing we saw, they pulled the guy out of the back of the car, the convertible, to the stole competition. The two planes were in the air. Five guys jumped out with their wingsuits, chased down the airplane, flew in formation with the airplane,
Yeah.
just towards the ground as they were coming down to land, popped their chutes, landed, ran off the field, and the plane landed right behind them.
Yeah. It was craziness. We had hot air balloons in the morning, like 6 or 7 o'clock. They would just pop up, and they have that every day because the weather up there was beautiful this year. Not a cloud in the sky, and they departed every morning. And you don't know where they landed, but everyone scatters to go find them somewhere in a field, somewhere in Lake City or North Lakeland. Arrhythmia with the I don't know what they are, like ultralights. Once I had like the backpack propeller on paraglider.
Maybe. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
There's a lot of those here in Navarre, but not with all the night lights.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me.
The show was pretty crazy. The whole night show is just insane.
Yeah.
For lasers, drones, pyro, fireworks, planes with lights, planes throwing fireworks and pyro.
Yeah. It was a lot. Let me see if I have more kind of. I mean, there is so much going on. You had even um the CAF airplane rides. You had Panchito doing airplane rides. You had people, doing rides in Texans and P. There is so much going on. P-51s, yeah. Looks like here there was a PT-19. It's this old little. It looks like it doesn't even have a cockpit. It's just it's a tiny like little warbird. 25 Panchito was doing that. I don't know if the Flying Legends Connie was doing it. I don't think so. I think they were doing a
I don't think
demo.
so. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot. We did not see. Oh yeah, you know what? We did see the KC-135. It came in, I think, on Friday or Saturday, along with the C-17.
Yeah, I was with C-17. And then was the KC-46 there as well?
KC-46.
It was the 135.
I think it was a 135. I can't remember.
Yes.
There's too much. NORAD did a kind of demo. I don't think I photographed it. I think I was transitioning between the airfield and the tower. Titan Aerobatic Team, they did a night show and they did a day show. The shooters were the parachute team that were coming in. Those are veteran parachutists. Mike Golian, RJ Gritter, Kyle Fowler, Redline. These are, I mean, it was stacked from the top to the bottom. From Tuesday, Melissa Burns. Yeah. The Trojan Thunder, that was the T-28s, Vertigo air shows. Yeah, Georgia says the KC-135, KC-46, and the C-17. Now, did they land on the field?
I think one of them did. I don't know which one because I was back a bit through when they were flying. That was the most I've ever seen a C-17 do.
Yeah.
Usually they do some flybys, but they were coming in low and turning, and the demonstration with, I don't remember which one they did the demonstration with, the refueling.
Yeah, there was, I think it was the 135, KC-135. There was, Kyle says they came from Tampa, possibly. Flew in from McDill. All right. Awesome. Not a far little fly there. That was probably like 5 minutes, hang out, do a little demo, go back. AC, welcome. Let's see. So, I mean, I know I missed some stuff. There was a time that I had to go back to the car because I was pulling this giant piece of luggage with all my gear in it. And my arm was like falling asleep. I had to go back to the car to get a break. But what do you think something is? What do you think people miss if they never leave the main show line?
Yes, you miss the ever changing statics. They change all day long. It's all this stuff that's just spread out. We went through the Army aviation where the UH-60 and the Apache there. What else? There's just it's so spread out.
Yeah.
Even having access to the media cart when we needed it, still walk 7 miles a day.
Was it 7 miles? Do you have a tracker on?
Yeah, my watch.
I didn't wear a watch because I didn't wanna know the pain that I was feeling. Yeah, I think it felt yeah, it was insane, you know? I think you had, like,
Comfortable
an the what?
comfortable shoes are a must for
Yeah.
Sunday fun. You don't mind getting completely ruined because the dirt
Yeah, the dirt.
with every day on your shoes.
Yeah, it was crazy. I figured that out the last year that it was insanely dusty. This year, I didn't wear shorts. I wore pants. My legs didn't get covered from below my knee of dirt, so that was nice. But I did wear jeans one day, and I thought this was the worst idea ever. It was so hot wearing jeans. I should have just wore shorts. Yeah, I actually had a suntan on my feet from Cocoa Beach the week prior, and I wasn't able to wear shoes for the next 3 days after the sunburn. So me walking around popping Tylenol every 2 hours or ibuprofen to reduce the swelling in my feet and breaking in new shoes at the same time. Why did I do that? Ridiculous. You had like a
My shoes
no, you had
are
like a
going off.
broken toe, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, torn ligament.
Oh my god. The things we do for airplanes, like what's wrong with us?
Yeah, 7 miles with a torn no, I don't recommend it.
Yeah.
You do what you gotta do, but I don't recommend it.
Yeah, we definitely have dedication for this aviation, home that we have, this aviation family. From a creator standpoint, how challenging was it for you to cover something for this many days?
It's pretty difficult just, I mean, we get there early in the morning some days if you don't leave. By the time you get out of the parking lot, it's 11:30 at night.
Yeah.
The show ends at 9:30, but you've got that walk back to the parking lot and then wait for traffic, and you're right back there the next morning. Yeah, and you still have to go home, dump your SD cards or however you do it. If you want to get an edit out from the show, you got to do that. You don't sleep much.
No.
That's for sure.
Yeah, I did not. I did about 16-hour days, 17-hour days, sleep for 3 hours or as much as we can, tell you the truth, wake up early. There's a few times where I wanted to wake up early to get early morning shots. And I was just like, no, my body was like, no, I need an hour. Give me an hour, you know?
Yeah.
Did you go to this show with a plan of what you wanted to see daily, or did you kind of just reacted to whatever unfolded?
Just reacted to whatever unfolded. I did this show completely different than any show I'd ever done. I knew it was a different show for one, and didn't put a hold into because I had heard that stuff pops up randomly. So I just kind of went with the day to see what happened. I knew I wanted the night stuff for sure. And, the 2 days of the night shows, I took some time to wander around and decide where I wanted to shoot that night to get the fireworks. And I used the A-10 on Wednesday and then the F-14 with the Super Guppy
Cool.
Saturday.
And you just stuck
That was
around
fun.
those two airframes on Wednesday and Saturday?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I played with the settings to, the shutter times and to see what I could get, what I liked best since I was doing it.
Have you done
Second shutter. Second shutter.
yeah, have you done night shows before?
I done Stewart in 2024. That was the only night show.
Okay. So how does that night show compare to Sun and Fun night show?
It was a good show. It had the drones, it had the fireworks, and it had I think Ghost Rider was flying around that night. But overall, Sun Fun just it was incredible. It had so much. I mean, and it wasn't just one plane flying around. You had Redline, you had Melissa Burns, you had Kyle Fowler, you had the paramotors, you had Red Bull jumping in their wingsuits and flying through the drones.
That was have you seen the POV shot of that?
Yes, yeah, it's really cool.
Talking
Watching
about
it watching it in person was pretty amazing. Seeing
yeah.
their point of view is even better.
Yeah,
If
definitely.
you haven't seen it, the drones are shaped like a Red Bull can, and they go through the can. They exit the plane and dive through the can with sparks coming out their feet.
So wild. I mean, just an air show with Red Bull stuff going on is pretty insane to begin with. And they're doing every kind of stunt that you could think of. Like you mentioned earlier, you had the jumpers coming out of the two aircraft. It's Fitzgerald was in their that BO helicopter. I forget the model of it. And then you have Luke Akins in a Cessna, and they're both jumping out at the same time. It's incredible. There's no way to sum it up in a word for just Red Bull alone.
Then he starts flipping the helicopter,
Yeah.
back flips and front flips. It's
Yeah. Were you out there for Mr. Mulligan's demo?
I think I was.
It was the white, it looks like a 1940s. Let me see. It's a 19 Air Racer. I'm not sure. It was doing laps around the airfield in the afternoon one of these days that we were there, and it was incredible seeing that thing rip around, and it was not flying slow by any means. I don't know what happened at the end of it, but it looked like maybe a bird strike or something, but the whole front of the cowling pretty much sheared off the aircraft, and it landed.
Oh no.
And he had recorded that there was a hydraulic like failure, like he lost his brakes or something. So he took the whole length of the runway, jumped on the taxiway, and basically ran all the way around the airport near the far trees there until he actually was slowed down enough to slow that aircraft down because that thing was ripping through. Pretty awesome. Hopefully he can fix that aircraft up and see what actually happened to it and fly it again next year. Really awesome to see that. It's like that old kind of vintage planes, vintage air racers, still GA. I mean, these people are like doing amazing things with these classic aircraft. It's just incredible. Full throttle formation team. There was like 18 of these RV8 vans.
Yeah, so many.
Yeah, incredible.
Um,
At one time, there's so much to see.
Jack and Sass, they were flying in the sunset.
But yeah, that was awesome. All those P-51s.
I seeing those. Yeah.
And apparently there is it's hard to hear the announcer when you're far away from show center, and also when you're like in your mind trying to think about what setting to use, how much focal distance, all that stuff. So it's kind of hard to hear when yourself think when you're so overwhelmed with aircraft. Is there any unexpected moments that turned into a great story for you?
Talking to the pilot, that's usually there was a pilot near the statics that you could chat with about, what they do and the jet or the plane that they fly. The A-10s had somebody the whole time. I met several of those pilots while there and was able to give the night shots I took with the Kansas City one on Wednesday. I was able to give them those photos and they were just
Over the moon with that.
yeah, they get excited
Yeah.
to see a photo of their jet and yeah. So that was a good story for me. I got to meet them and talk and
Did you you follow pretty much a lot of the photographers that were there. Is there anyone that you want to give a shout out to that actually captured something that kind of blew you away on how they presented that image?
course, there was so many people there that I knew.
Yeah.
Where to start with that? Because everybody did amazing work.
Yeah. Everyone has their own different styles too. I know I'm putting you on the spot, and I don't want to like single anyone out because there's really so many awesome photographers there. Even on the photo team, there's people that are on the Sun and Fun photo team that I met this year that I never met in the 10 years that I've known them on social media. So I was like, oh, that's cool. It's good to put a face next to the name. Now I know who you are. Would you ever consider volunteering in the future?
Possibly.
I was actually thinking about it for next year. I ran around a lot. I was doing performer interviews. I was doing podcasts, kind of back and forth with other demo teams. And I think, and I spoke to a few people with Sun and Fun Radio, and those people are all kind of podcasters. They're sound engineers. They actually work in radio. So I thought, okay, maybe at first I thought, okay, I'll see if I can volunteer for Sun and Fun photo op, like those photo crew people. But then I look at my camera gear. I'm like, these guys are all shooting mirrorless. Their cameras are like top of the line. I'm still shooting like this 12-year-old Nikon D500. So I need to upgrade, I think, to before I could get into that photo crew. But I was really thinking about Sun and Fun Radio. Those seem like they seem like my people, you know? I mean, photographers are my people too, but now I'm in this whole podcasting realm and it's cool to talk to different people and how they kind of present, Sun and Fun Radio as a podcast for Sun and Fun. That seems like a fun thing to do. Yeah, we'll see.
There's so many met a lot of new photographers too, just in the media tent. We walked in there, I ran into you several times in there, and there would be a whole group of us that knew each other or, you know, had some new people in there, and that was a really cool perk
Yeah,
to have access to.
shout out to everyone working and volunteering at Sun and Fun, and really helping us, keeping us hydrated and kind of
Mhm.
fed with the media tent. Those people are awesome individuals. Either we had oranges. I always find the snacks that make my hands dirty and then I have to touch my camera. I don't know why. But there's like sliced oranges, I was like, oh well, I forgot my wipes in the car and now I have to go find a bathroom somewhere to wash my hands. It's ridiculous. I always do it.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you enjoy that coffee that was out there?
I just need coffee halfway through, so it was good coffee. But yeah, it was definitely nice to have access to it and just walk in anytime and
Definitely.
me.
And the golf cart drivers. Thank you, Kyle, for reminding me. They helped so much in getting us to our locations. There's a few that were really, really like, I got to get here. Are you going to go this way? Yeah, I'll jump on that. And me with this giant piece of luggage or cart that I was kind of going behind, these guys were, hauling butt through the fields. And I was like, okay, this is the fastest my cart has ever rolled. It was hilarious. Yeah, everyone taking us to the Warbird area or just like even the trolley that goes from the main gate. And you could jump on that if you want to take a break and you want to really see everything at Sun and Fun. Go on one of these like trolley things. I don't know what it is. It's like an open trolley, but it goes from the main gate through home builds, Paradise City, where the stalls are at. There's stops along the way. And then it goes all the way out to Chopper Town, which is way out, probably like a 3 mile walk. It would take you probably like 40 minutes to walk out there. But the trolley gets there in like 15 minutes. And it's everything from private MH60s, Hueys, Robinson 22s, Robinson 40s. Like everyone that kind of flew into the show in a helicopter was out there at Chopper Town. So that's pretty cool. So I think on Saturday they actually shut down the gates because they reached the maximum capacity. Yeah. Yeah.
If you purchased the ticket online, we'll let you in, but nobody else
Yeah.
is coming in.
That was wild. And I could feel it. Like, sorry, I got like a piece of dust in my face. When I was out there to try to set up for Saturday for the night shot, it was impossible. I know you were by the Tomcat, and I know that whole area. You had the DC-3s were over there, or the C. It was jam packed over there. I was in front of the Super Guppy. I don't know why I try to get those photos twice, but I was trying to get the QF-16s, and there was heads everywhere. There's no way I can edit out all those people that were in front of that
Right.
jet. I think a few people were in. Tyler and Walter were out by the Huskies trailer area. Did you take a trip or take a walk around there to see the manufacturer's aircraft?
Through a bit of everything that was in that general area between the show line and the media tent.
Yeah.
Took the scenic route to the media tent a few times.
Yeah.
What you could find, and then there were a million paths to take. There were multiple choices to go through each time. You could get there many different ways.
Yeah. Did you, I know you did Airbnb. I did Airbnb also. Do you ever think about maybe camping out there? You're not a camper. No. I thought about it, but I don't know if I could do a tent camp because that's just like,
Yeah, well, maybe in a camper.
yeah, in an
But
RV or something, just kind of hang
yeah,
out.
not when you're doing those long days. You have to have some rest.
Yeah. You got to be able to sleep comfortably, not sleep on the floor somewhere. That's the cool thing about it. You got people that are tent camping, you got people that are car camping, RVs. There's a whole town of a section that says, this is generators only, this is no generators. You had people I found tents like everywhere, Even there's areas where the people that live adjacent to the airport, they open up their backyards so you could camp in their backyards. That's
Driving people's yards.
it I mean, it was insane, the amount of things that you could see. Let's see, what stood out to you about the people at this air show?
And see anyone arguing over space or an umbrella. Things I've seen at some other shows, people fighting over you standing and them sitting because they don't want to stand. And
Yeah.
it was that really happened, and everybody was pretty chill and
Yeah, there was,
just relaxed.
me and a few friends from Miami, we kinda experienced that on Saturday. There is some kids that were kinda like, "Oh, get out of our way," and I'm like, "Dude, there's, like, nowhere for me to go," you know? Like, I'm literally next to you, and it's hard. You have 200,000 people hanging around airplanes. It's hard to sometimes photograph something and have someone else painting a plane with a light. I know that's, like, a big taboo when you're trying to shoot a night show.
Yeah,
And it's like it should be a lesson on adapting and trying to figure out a different setting based on this other person's light painting of a reflective aircraft. It's hard to do one thing when you're surrounded by 200,000 people that love airplanes just as much as you do. So there was a few things I did see one guy get arrested, which I don't know what he did, but the police had him in handcuffs and they're gonna put him in a car. I'm like, either you got drunk, which it was easy. It was easy to get kind of lit there. I took a walk out to the island and they had like a Keel and Curly winery and they had cider out there. I don't drink beer or like hard alcohol, but I never had cider, so I gave it a try, and I was like, kind of loopy after being in the sun for like 14 hours. So either that guy had too much cider, or I don't know why anyone would get arrested at an air show like that. So crazy. It was a crazy week. It was a fun, crazy, big air show week. Is there anything you want to add about Sun and Fun?
anything. You truly don't know what to expect. If you've never been, have an open mind. Be prepared for random stuff to pop up. Get there early. Just because it says the show starts at 1, that doesn't mean. So who knows what airplane is going to fly in at 8 a.m., 10 a.m., p.m., even though it says the show starts at 1. Be prepared.
Yeah. After experiencing this year's show, what does Sun and Fun Aerospace Expo represent to you?
Pretty much everything aviation. There's a bit of everything there, no matter what you're into, what side of aviation, military, GA, helicopters. There's a bit of everything for everyone.
Is there anyone that you got to interview as a creator at this show?
Do a whole lot of interviews, stick mostly to photos with a few videos for reels. I talked to a lot of people, but as far as an actual interview, I didn't do any of those. No,
Did you get any patches from the demo teams or the squadrons?
it's hard not to leave with a couple of those from every air show. Whether you're there or talking,
Yeah, there's so much to see. There's so much to cover, so much to photograph. There's some powerhouse photographers and videographers. I can't imagine all those video files that they've had to go through.
yeah, video is a whole different how it's edited and each second to music and the sounds and yeah,
Have you finished editing Sun and Fun yet?
not even close. Do you ever finish editing their show?
No.
No, I don't think you do. You go back, months later, you'll pick it back up, like, oh, let me see you'll find something you didn't even know you had from last time. Last time you looked through them, you overlooked something, or did you go back and look again and pull something else out?
Yeah, that's the cool thing about saving all those files. There's always something that you kind of missed or you're looking for that you didn't think about it when you were posting it, but now you could edit it differently, especially with new technology coming out with editing. There's always something new that pops out with this creative cloud. Have you been able to complete at least one day of editing?
Well, that's not how I edit. I go through, choose random photos that I like from each day, and I don't do one day at a time. That's not how I've ever done an air show.
Really? That's interesting.
I
Yeah.
go through the whole show, however many days, and a lot of it, I remember the shots as I take them. So I kind of know the ones I'm looking for, before I even upload them to the computer, and those are the ones I pulled out first. So I, pull those out, and then I go back and look for the other stuff that I might not have realized at the time is what it is, or was as good as it was. But there are always certain shots that stick out in my head, and I
Yeah,
go back and look for those.
very cool. So you put a week of photos in one folder?
So I have the folders by year and then by show, and then that show has the days in separate folders.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So something that we've kind of like covered lightly, everyone does it differently. How they organize their photos. Some people do it by, the air shows. Some people do it by the day, by the type of aircraft. I type of aircraft, that's like really I organize everything via Lightroom. So I have my catalog, everything is keyworded. If I want to find a QF16, all I have to put in as a search is QF16, and it shows me everything I've captured over the last 10 years of
Mm,
QF16s. How I organize my photos is date. I put year first, then the date and the day. Give it like a Sun and Fun basic SNF, and then it's 1 through 5 or however many days I've done. I keep it organized that way. It's cool to see how different people do it. I'm very kind of OCD, so I'll have I spend days making a selection, get rid of all the blurry photos, and then I kind of go through and edit as the days are. But yeah, it's impossible.
it's a lot to keep up with. It's kind of like that. It's my date show, or if it's a Blue Angels practice by date, it'll say Blues practice or Blues Lighthouse or something like that with the date. But when I export from there, I have two folders. I have one that's watermarked, which I'll use to post on socials and things, and then the other one is for print. So if I know it's something I'm probably going to want to print, goes to the print folder.
I think I put everything. I don't print anymore. I would like to print, but then I'd have no wall space for anything. And I would like to be able to, I mean, you're in a prime location. I think I've mentioned that before. You're in a prime location in the Panhandle to capture the blues pretty much every week. Get the best photos. If you missed a photo, you could kind of go back and take it again. And you have this opportunity now to sell your photos at the Air Museum. How is that?
Yeah,
How's that been?
it was an incredible feeling to walk in there and be able to see my photos. Today, out on the flight line, they have under a hangar, they have a pop-up store that they set up during practices. My photos were there.
Yeah.
To see those, I can't tell you
Huh?
how that feels. It's unlike anything I ever imagined that I would get to that point, but I'm incredibly thankful for everybody's support that helped get me here.
Are you printing the photos and then delivering it to them, or are they pretty much doing everything on their side?
So no, I print, sign, package, and deliver.
Wow.
Yeah.
Full blown service right there. Well, awesome. Thanks for coming on tonight. Sorry we had a bunch of technical issues. Um, it was my fault at first. I don't know why I was doing it on the Spotters podcast page. Learning.
No, either that you couldn't do it on a computer. I had no idea that. Why would there be a difference?
Yeah, I failed today with the communication part. I'll own it. I failed it.
Well, who would know? It's both Instagram. You can do video calls. Why wouldn't you be able to do the live? I had no clue.
Yeah.
So,
Well, where can people find your photos from Sun and Fun?
way to see them on my Instagram page and Facebook.
And what's your Instagram page?
On the water photography Navarre is the full. Sorry.
We got
Facebook is on the water photography, and then
All right, awesome. Well, thanks again for joining. And hopefully we'll get a recap of your year, one of these shows. And you
yeah.
can tell me, overall, it's hard to compare it to Silent Fun, but you could tell me what has been your most memorable show at the end of the year. We'll see. All right, have a good night.
You too.